Am I supposed to be completely in the frame?
Yes, you do.
Okay. You don't. I still look dark, which I like. I will try and answer to the best of my ability.
Yes.
Emphasis on my ability.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. We have Bongani here. You guys have seen him in my stories, okay? You've sent him questions and today he's here to tell you a little bit about himself and he's also gonna answer your question. Bongani, please tell us a little bit about yourself, your name, where you're from, what you do.
I don't know where to start. Bongani Kigundu, I am full on Ugandan. There's an interesting story behind the Bongani name.
Yeah, I've asked guys before.
Yeah, it's sort of like an adopted name that I use most frequently, but it's not my first name. Hence, you see the SDBK on the whatchamacallit on my handle.
First name?
First name's actually Stephen, so I'm named after my father, Stephen.
Oh, okay.
And then Duncan Bongani. Then there is another Ugandan name, but all of that will be once you get to know me more.
So you have like how many names?
Technically, I have 4 names and then a surname, so it can get very complicated in African tradition. It can get very complicated. So, but we're not here for that. I mean, maybe one day I'll actually post it on my.
I think you should.
Instagram.
I like people with a lot of names. It's interesting.
It is. It's the only way I've known. It's only a problem when you have to write, when you have to fill out forms and stuff like that.
So that's why you just make it S.
Yeah, that's why SDB. That's
okay.
I usually just use those 3 and then leave the Ugandan name for last.
And what do you do?
I am a physiotherapist in the public sector. So no, you cannot look for me for any private sessions. I practically only work in government, and then on weekends help out in private if they need me. I like working in government. There really is nothing like helping people.
It's not more stressful?
It is more stressful, but if you've ever helped somebody and someone has given you a genuine thank you, there really is nothing like that. It really just recharges you because you've helped them and now they've reached a certain goal that they wanted to. And there's honestly nothing better. There's nothing better like it. So I love it. That's why I've been in it for actually since I graduated.
And we have spoken about this privately, just as friends. But what has your experience been like during the pandemic in a hospital?
Crazy. It's honestly been crazy. I always find it interesting when people think that it's just a joke or a myth and this thing isn't around, but it is here. It's going to be here to stay for a long time. The best thing is just adapting yourself to see what works best for you, because things like there's other pandemics that are actually still currently happening, and at the end of the day most governments will tell you the choice is in your hands. It's not up to anybody else. They tell you this is what you should do that, and go from there. It's a real thing, and because there's not enough information out there, nobody can completely give you the correct answers. Every day is a chance and
something new.
Yeah, it's absolutely something new. You can only look at it retrospectively and then say, okay, you know what? This works. But for now, every day going forward, just try and be as safe as possible and go from that. Especially now that we're going into December, just try and be as safe as possible, because at the end of the day, it's the only person that can really have control of your health is yourself.
Exactly.
So,
you're responsible, guys.
Yeah,
wear your mask, wash your hands, social distance, and all of those good things. That's really, really important. I just felt like it was going to be important that if I have someone who works in healthcare on my channel, that you touch on that, because we just need to remind you guys about it. And because we want to be, or we are people of influence to some extent, it's important that we take the responsibility as well to remind you about it. Like I said to you guys yesterday, he writes poetry. That's one of his other passions aside from helping people in hospitals and stuff. Can you please tell us a little bit about that? I
probably started writing, actually I've always liked writing, but I never quite got it, never been like formally trained on it. Some people would say I have a way with words. And eventually, like in high school, I used to love English with the essay part of English, where you could just write stories, because then my imagination could go crazy. And that story writing went down to shorter forms, and then eventually got myself into
So it's not like
poetry.
you fell hard in love with somebody and then you would write to them poems.
It is funny because poetry actually started being because of love, but actually if you go deep into it, people write about anything and everything. It really is just another way of somebody expressing themselves, because you could look at songs as poetry also, you could look at hip-hop as poetry also. So it's just a way of people expressing themselves and getting whatever it is on their mind out into the universe, putting it down on paper. And I've found more and more now with the creative process is as something comes into my head, I'll quickly jot it down onto my phone and then later go and edit it and say, so that it says exactly how I might have felt at that point, which might have been with love, might have been with any hurt or pain from something else, from just being tired. That's just generally how I feel, or literally just talking about the sun rising. And that beautiful moment that it is. I just want to write. I just write to however I feel in the moment, and it's something for me that I share with the world. So that's how I got into it. That's why I still do it, and that's why I'm enjoying it.
We are gonna dive a little deeper into why we are here. The fun part. You guys, I've been wanting to have this kind of video on my channel for a while because I also have questions and I wonder about a lot of things. But before we start asking Bongani questions, we need to get the elephant out of the room. Huge elephant. We need to ask him, are you single? Are you taken? Are you married? Do you have kids? Like, what baggage are you currently carrying? Because everybody wants to know.
Okay, you know what, actually. If my lifelong goal is to be a house husband or a stay-at-home dad, if you go through my social media as far back as you can possibly go, I've always just wanted to be somebody that can raise my kids. And if that means now trying to be navigate this new world of being a male surrounded by successful, strong women that want to chase their career, that means that a partner to that means that you need to be a little bit more submissive, because it's not something that we get taught as males to be submissive. So it means that I'd love to be a stay-at-home dad. But in order for me, so if you really want to know, if I'm single or taken, you need to be comfortable with me being a stay-at-home dad. That's the first part. Then also I need to know, if you find out if I'm single or taken, what happens then? Are you then going to approach me? Because that's still being submissive. So
just to, I think this is one of my questions to you today. You don't mind being approached?
I don't mind being approached. A lot of guys actually don't mind being approached, because it is difficult out. It is really difficult out there, because there's a fear in, okay, I find you attractive and I'd like to get to know you more. And I go there, but I need to sell myself in a certain way so that you could probably find me attractive. However, if you make the first move, first of all, big ups on you for doing that, because society says you shouldn't.
It's not supposed to be
supposed to be done that way. So big ups to you for doing that. You're taking charge of your life and you're going forward. But then I can also see that, you know what, maybe this is also somebody that I'm willing to find out more about, because it really is, guys will tell you, it's guys really play it down how difficult it is approaching somebody, because even now in this navigating this whole gender relations that's happening at the moment, it's not easy, because I can approach you, Kalenga, and I could just say hello, but maybe you've had bad experiences. Now I get the brunt of that. Now you're triggered, and I get the brunt of that. And I was like, actually, I would have just preferred to stay away, because my intention was never to trigger you. So if you feel you're in the right space and you feel somebody's attractive, then go to them and say, hey, hello, how are you doing? Start a conversation.
That what makes it difficult is probably the rejection part. And then the other thing that makes it difficult is because I think as a woman, you also have your own feminine energy that you feel like it's just not your role to play in this whole thing. But personally, as a modern woman, I've always felt that I must show my interest.
Yeah.
I feel like it's important to show that I'm interested,
Yes.
and then it's for you to do the rest.
Because
Yeah.
you just coming up and saying hello technically means you made the first move. But I at least know, hey, she's interested, and I'm also interested. Let me pursue her. Because we also get rejected all the time.
But I like that. I like that. You know why? Because that means that I'm not crazy, guys. Because it just means that I'm okay in there. Because I just feel like I must show you that I'm interested. Because if you don't know, then so even if I show you that I'm interested and I make the first move, it doesn't like devalue me.
No, it doesn't.
In
it doesn't
any
at
way.
all. If anything, like I said earlier, it's given you power. It has given you power because you can say, "Ooh, there's these 5 guys," and you can go say hello to all those 5 guys. But you chose those 5 guys. You had a choice that these are the people
From
that I'm
today,
interested in.
guys, this is my
You know what I
mission. I am going out there. I'm choosing 5 guys.
And this is who I'm interested in, as opposed to getting 10 guys that you're not interested in at all, at all, and stuff like that. So as guys, we are the ones that now there's 10 girls that I need to go to that have no interest in me, and I get rejected the whole time because I'm like maybe no, maybe no, maybe no, but I thought no. You know what?
Are you telling my audience that they can shoot their shot?
Shoot your shot all day. Shoot your shot.
Not in with you.
All day. Oh, with me. You know what?
If they're like willing to let you be a stay-at-home dad.
If you're willing to be
and a house husband.
And a house husband and let me chill and relax and stuff like that, then you know what? We can start a conversation. We can get to know each other because that's also another part of the story. Just because I'm single doesn't mean I'm interested.
That came from the horse's mouth. Not from me. Don't come for me. Okay?
We're here to get to know me more. And I'm not just about being single, which is, I find it, that's another part. It's so fascinating, this, like, I don't know how you ladies do it, man. I don't know how you ladies, the constant approach from people, but you're not interested. People constantly shooting their shot, and you're just like, listen, I'm trying to enjoy my life.
But don't you also feel bad when you turn down a girl?
You know what? Not a lot of girls have approached me, believe it or not. So I can't say historically that I feel bad. It doesn't happen enough. Doesn't mean like let's test this now. Let's not test this theory. So you know you also don't have to be very mean about it. You don't have to be very mean about it. You can shoot your shot, and I can tell you now. You know I'm not interested in being in that relationship, or I'm interested in getting to know people more before I get into a relationship, or I can tell you I am taken at the moment. So it really, historically I can't say it felt bad because I've always tried to be genuine and honest. And if you feel my genuinity, and honesty, then it doesn't hurt as bad because
I think it also depends on the person approaching and their confidence. Sometimes you just have to trust yourself and not take it personally. If a person is just not into you, I think it's just life.
It is definitely life.
And I think the problem is with those guys who are not interested, but they still come, get the goods, and be like, oh, actually, I wasn't interested. I just sort of like, you just gave it to me. You offered yourself up. I've met a lot of people who have such reactions, and it's so childish. So please don't do that, guys. Please stop it. If you're not interested, be not interested. Don't confuse the woman. Don't bring in, I don't know, hot and cold. Just be like, I'm not interested. That's it.
I also want to add to that is also women, if you aren't interested, don't leave him alone. Because there are guys out there that have been hurt because they feel she's showing some sort of interest. And because she's showing interest, let me continue. But actually, you're not interested at all. And, it definitely does go both ways. And the hard part is guys just don't talk about it. Guys take it on the chin and be like, oh, okay, well.
I'm so interested to hear your responses to this. Thank you so much to everybody that sent your questions in. Bongani is emotionally prepared.
I'm trying.
Yes, to answer them.
I will try and answer to the best of my ability.
Yes.
Emphasis on my ability. I do not answer and I do not speak for everyone, every male person out there. I only speak from my experience. So you can't.
So please, Black Twitter, don't come for Bongani.
Yeah. I only speak from my experience and how life has happened for me and maybe the people around me.
Is it okay with you if I skipped all the questions that ask if you're single? If you're
Sure, we can do that. We can definitely do that.
Yes, okay. Well, this one says that not a ask. This is Eurasia Love, something like that.
Yes.
But let him know I love his page. The hashtags are always fire. What's that?
Thank you, Eurasia. If you go on to my Instagram, and it's sort of a luck of the draw, but if you go through some of my pics and everything, you'll notice that I put hashtags at the end of the picture, and usually I try and make them as funny as possible or out there as possible. So the hashtags are it's me sort of showing the fun side of me, where like fun, crazy, just whatever comes to my head, not making, life isn't always so serious point of view. And so I try and make those hashtags in there. And in those hashtags, that's actually where you'll find like the Househusband sort of hashtags.
She says, what usually inspires his poetry? Has he ever had writer's block? How does he combat that?
Everything inspires my poetry. If I might write something after this, but everything sort of inspires my poetry. I can't say I've ever had writer's block because there's no pressure to write poetry at the moment. So I just write as I feel and post as I feel. I mean, currently, if you go through my phone, you'll find over 100 poems there that are unedited or unpublished sort of poems. So I always know I can go back, and as I feel like doing it, I can go back and write and do that. Because there's no real pressure for the writer's block, I don't really, I do it as I feel, as the inspiration comes to me.
Yeah.
That's when I choose to write. I mean, there's times I've just written words down, come back later and you see, oh, you know what, this is how I might want to tell the story.
She asked, do men really want made women these days, not someone they can grow with? I think that's quite a question for you who wants to be a stay-at-home dad and a house husband.
You know what? What me and a lot of my friends want is somebody that knows themselves. So with every choice, there's a consequence to it, So if you want to be made, if you want to, pursue yourself, no one is saying you shouldn't. By all means, go and do that. If you know that is what you personally want to do, because then there's no sort of confusion. You can put it out there exactly as it is, and then the male must adapt to that too, because he will also have things that he wants to do and choices that he wants to make, and he can go with that. There isn't this, we shouldn't be desperate. We shouldn't be desperate. Oh, yes, your partner would be somebody that wants somebody that's made. That's if that makes sense.
You mean if you're someone that's made, you're gonna find somebody who
wants somebody, that's okay with somebody being made, because there isn't one rule. There isn't one rule to earn or to everything in life.
Because as women who work and are independent and successful in our own right, it's quite difficult to navigate relationships because some of these men are really intimidated. I've personally had issues like that where a partner has felt emasculated because I'm super ambitious and I go out there and I do all these things and I make decisions for my life. So how would you, since you want to be a house husband and that's what you want to do, you decided that that's what you're going to do. And how would you...
I love it.
And you've spoken about submission as a man, which is quite interesting.
Yes.
How would you feel if your woman, does that mean that the woman becomes the one that makes the decision, or are you still assuming your manly role in the relationship where you're the leader? And I think I'm trying to get that.
The way life is, okay, firstly, the other part is, as males growing up, we might have been, my generation might have been the generation where we are actually used to seeing a lot of made women, so successful women. But if somebody's not exposed to that, then you must need to understand that you might be the first time they're exposed to somebody that's that ambitious. So of course it's going to be difficult for them because they've never been exposed to it. Their whole life they've been growing around and they've had
Was
women
it difficult for
that it
you
is.
to arrive at this decision?
Yes, it definitely has taken some time, because you know, if you're used to being around submissive women, and now somebody else comes to you, that adaptation is going to take it's going to take some time. It's not going to be easy and stuff like that. Luckily now the next generation of kids will be exposed to more women that are out there, because the numbers are increasing and opportunities are increasing for people to have that sort of equality.
Yeah.
But if you're not exposed to it, then they're not exposed to it. So I'm lucky that I've been exposed to a lot of elder women in my life that have
Like
been
your mom,
ambitious,
your
like my
aunts?
mom, my aunts, my sister, my cousins. So people are out there going for what they want, and they know what they want. So I've been exposed to both sides of the world. That has definitely helped me in that sort of situation. But when you enter a relationship, everything it's a two-way street. All decisions get made both ways. I'd like to think of when it comes to friends, you don't make all the decisions with your friends.
No.
So why in the relationship should one person make all the decisions?
That's a good point.
You know, so you have to sit down and understand that, okay, listen, if you're going to be the ambitious one, in order to balance things out, then someone else needs to be relenting. But even in that sense, that might still be financially that way, because that's how we keep thinking. If financially you're going to be the ambitious one in that sense, then maybe when it comes to the personal side of things, then he has to do that. Because his ambition, my ambition, is to raise, like your kids, is to raise another human being and go and do all of that. That in itself has its own power. Money isn't everything, but you have to have that conversation with people that, okay, when we enter this relationship, this is how maybe I can make decisions here. You know, you can make decisions there. Let's sit down and have a conversation.
I'm pleasantly surprised.
Let's not assume anything. Let's not assume anything.
You know why I'm saying this? Because this is so fresh and new. You know, I have my brother who's always said that he wants to be a house husband. And I don't think we've ever had a conversations about it to try and understand why is it that he wants to do that. But then I don't know if his reasons and yours would be the same.
Yeah.
But then the way that you're thinking about it is refreshing for me, because I've struggled in relationships when it comes to the fact that I'm ambitious and I want to go after what I want, because I'm not the kind of person to take a seat back to someone else. It's never going to be me, and I just know what I want. Like, I want this, and I want it blue, and I want it blue tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, that's me. So, and there's a lot of women I know who are like that.
Yeah.
Because I also come from a family like that, where the women are the ones that are the providers.
Yeah.
And we've always been made to feel like that's wrong.
Nah.
But now to meet a person that doesn't think that that's wrong, is like,
you see, even the mere fact that your brother saying he wants to be a house husband because he grew up around ambitious women. So he's like, I'm absolutely okay with taking a step back, because this is what I was raised, and I can see that, you know what, actually, it works.
It works.
You know, it works. So
it's not intimidating.
Yeah, it's not intimidating at all and stuff like that. It just really depends. That's why you need to sit down and have that conversation with your partner, get to know them and see, okay, their upbringing, their history got them to where they are now. Okay. And you can move from there.
The same person is asking you, how do men feel about dating women with mental health illnesses like depression, anxiety, etc.?
That is a very difficult issue. That's a very difficult topic to talk about.
But don't we all have mental illness to an extent?
To an extent, because that is the first part, that all of us have some sort of history that we might not be talking about.
Yeah.
There just might be levels to it. All of us have reacted differently to our history, and which has brought us to them. If still going back onto that the other part of knowing what you want and knowing who you are. So if you really know who you are, then you're able to express to somebody else that, hey, you know what? Listen, this is X, Y, and Z. And you're sort of giving someone else a guide to how to be with you. You know what I mean? Which certainly helps. That, listen, I have X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
So maybe if I'm off, maybe if I am on medication, this is how I am. If I get off my medication, this is how I am.
Yeah.
If I'm having a bad day, but to help your partner navigate that sort of realm, you sort of need to tell them. You know, you need to speak to them and say, listen, I've got mental health issues, I've got trauma, I've got all these other things, because it's also not easy. It's not easy to trust people. You know, it's not easy to trust people. It's not easy to let yourself go like that completely. But if you do let yourself go completely, and somebody sees the genuineness in it and like the honesty in it, then they can also have the choice that, okay, you know what, I'm willing to, I can accept 90% of you. Okay. And that.
But you can't also really accept 100%
of somebody. You can never. There will always be something that bothers you. And to some people, they'll be like, mental health. Well, you know what? I grew up with my mom that had depression, that had anxiety. I had this, so I'm used to this in my life. And you know what? I can handle that. Meanwhile, somebody that's never seen that before could be like, oh, okay, you know what? This is too much for me because maybe I have my own mental health issues. And you know, it's so much harder working on mine now. I have yours also too. I need to be there for you, but that's not going to work. So there's definitely some guys out there that are, you know, there's no blanket rule for a lot of these things. There are some guys out there that are
not okay with it, and there are some people who are
that are willing to go with it. Yeah, but you know, it comes from you that if you're comfortable with yourself and you're able to explain and express yourself in a certain way, then it gives them that opportunity to make the choice of whether they want to,
and also how you explain the trauma. I've made some mistakes before where I didn't communicate properly on the on the thing of the mental health thing. Our culture also stigmatizes. I mean, Africans.
Oh yes.
We don't really talk about.
Yes. Oh. We don't talk about a lot of things. I've noticed now working the joys of working in public and stuff is a lot of people think that physiotherapy for the most part has to do with the physical side of things. But a lot of people, you know, a lot of patients open up to physiotherapists because we physically spend the most time there. So you have to get over your physical presence very quickly, and then that just like sort of triggers people that they then just talk to you. So I've just realized a lot of people just don't talk about things, and I mean, if you know, that's why the poetry became an outlet for myself. You know, that okay, no, so I can talk about this. You know, I'm comfortable with it because at the end of the day, we are all navigating this whole life thing together. So if you can give people some sort of guidance and say, hey, you know what, I tried this. Maybe it'll work for you. If it doesn't work for you, you know, you'll never know unless you try it. Yeah. And there's been major stigmas behind it, and the things that I'm liking is all the crazy things that are happening in the world. There are some positive steps that we are making to you know, we've learned from the past that, you know what, actually this might not work. Let's try this. Let's try this. Let's try this until eventually we all get somewhere, because you know, sometimes it is difficult to look to your parents for guidance, and your parents are like, I don't know, and
they genuinely
I just don't know. I can't tell you. At that period in time of my life, I was told X, Y, and Z. So,
and our generation is quite different. Yeah, and also I think society in general is doing better when it comes to mental health now. Where we have a bit more awareness. And just to say to you, I think I told you this before, but I'm like super grateful to my physiotherapist after my surgery, because they had to get the fear out of my head. As in, I was so scared to move. Like, I'm in so much pain, I'm scared to stand, I'm scared to sit down. I just wanted to lay the entire time. But it's true that this person had to work with my mental and then get me out of it, and then be like, you can take the stairs, look at those stairs, you can take them, you can go up and come down. And that's technically also just working with the psychology of the person.
Yeah, it is. Everybody, we've said it, we probably can't emphasize it or not, everybody has some sort of trauma that they've been through. I'm sitting here next to Kalenga, but I don't know her. I don't know every single bit that has happened to her. I don't know why she likes the color orange. Maybe she likes the color orange because as a kid something happened with the color blue. we don't know.
You don't know.
We don't know. Everybody's going through something. There's different levels to it, but now it's more out there. So let's just treat everybody like they're humans. Always going forward. You also never know the future. So you could stay with this person and find out After a year, everything clicks and it works out well. But maybe after a year, things become toxic for yourself. Now, where do you weigh out?
And you can't manage.
Yeah. Where do you weigh out where you can't manage? That's your personal choice.
That's your personal choice.
You need to know that, okay, maybe this is too much for you. Maybe this is doing too much damage for yourself.
Yeah.
And now if it's hurting you, then that also indirectly might hurt them too. It's not easy. You know, I'd like relationships, and I say relationships not even in the sense of, you know, with somebody like your partner, also with friendships too, because you might have dropped some friends because you realized it's not working
for you.
But
even family.
Even some family,
you can drop them, not like disown, but like you just avoid them.
Yeah, because you have to put them aside there because it's not doing you any good. It's not you know who she's talking about.
You know, guys. But you have to protect your peace.
Yeah, you have to protect your peace.
Yeah.
Because if you're not at one, then how are you going to do any good for anybody else?
And this question we've received it quite a bit. Why do men ghost women?
You know, a lot of.
I like how he's adjusting. Answer for your tribe, please.
Listen, earlier on, Kalinga said sometimes some people you did it, then they realized they didn't like it. Actually, you know what? They didn't like it, and then they ghosted. I mean, I can give you plenty of logical explanations why people ghosted you. Yeah.
But women ghost too, I think.
Because women ghost too.
Yeah.
Women ghost too. For these, there's plentiful of reasons why you should ghost. I would like to think don't.
I'm ghosted because.
No. As painful as it is, you need to accept it. You know, like it is very hard. You know, maybe some people have ghosted because they have mental health issues. Some people have ghosted is because you gave them the goods and they realized,
it's not for me.
It's not for you, and they left.
Wait, I just want to make a joke about that. A friend of mine said that's actually an interview.
You held a bad interview. You held a bad interview. You didn't get the job. You didn't get the job, and they ghosted you. Companies also, they just don't respond. You're sitting there wondering, I wonder if they're going to call you. The company's not going to call you.
But have you ever ghosted?
I'm
not putting you on the spot. I just want to know.
Yeah. There's been a couple of times that I've ghosted.
Why was it that you ghosted?
Mostly the primary reasons why I've ghosted was because as much as I've communicated, listen, I'm not interested. It's not going to happen. But somebody is still persistent about it. Now you find yourself in a position that you're like, okay, but I've communicated. I've done it from my side. I've tried to do the best that I could, but you're not listening. Now I just need to step away. I need to step away. I need to stop talking to you, because if I continue talking to you and you're not getting the point, then what is the
the goal?
What is the goal? What is the goal? Because I could tell you, listen, I could tell you no. How many no's until you get it? Actually, I'm not giving you a choice anymore. I'm just like, okay, peace out. It was this wasn't fun. I'm sorry, and you gotta go. So there are many reasons why people are going. Why people ghost. I want to say, if you sit down and you think about it carefully, that is there anything that you might have done? You might really know if you did something that made somebody ghost. And if you didn't, then it's not about you. And
it's about them. Sometimes it's just like that. Yeah. It's hard to accept.
It's very hard to accept.
It's like, what's wrong with me?
It's not about you.
What did I do? What is wrong with
It's not about you.
Oh, and that kills your self-esteem.
You can only hope the person might communicate it beforehand, and then you see the pre-ghosting. You see the pre-ghosting coming, and then okay.
This question is awkward. Did you see it? This one.